Today we are famous, and today we are very proud of the Shaolin warrior monks. Why are we always keeping up that word warrior monks? Because they are expressing something. They are expressing something which, when you can feel it, you feel it's something very special to have nowadays. To not give up when the times are getting hard. It's not just the Shaolin who are living this type of spirit, but they also possess it. Because this is what makes the difference between someone that we call a warrior and maybe another person, somebody that we call who succeeds and somebody you maybe call today a loser. The difference is both are going to come to the point where they are facing the challenge and when they are maybe facing also their defeat for the first time. The only difference is that the warrior keeps going. And somebody who does not have enough courage, who does not have enough discipline, who does not have willpower, maybe he just does not have the power anymore to keep on going and going and going after he failed so many times. But because of these failures, because there is something inside of you which feels that you don't want to fail the fourth and fifth and sixth time anymore. Because of this, something else inside of you starts to become very, very strong. We can try in the beginning to remove ourselves a little bit from the wording, because I think everybody who hears the word warrior, he will already have something in the mind what he is considering a warrior to be. We can take any successful person nowadays. I don't think that this person reached his success or reached his position where he is at the moment without having some guiding principles in his lifetime. And one of them certainly is structure. I don't think he reached that point by just doing what he wants during the day. Maybe right now he's in the position that he can do what he wants, but how he got there is not by doing what he wanted. He put himself a structure, he put himself a guideline, and no matter how he felt during that day, this was the code, this was the mission, and this is what he kept. If you feel tired or not, if you are in the mood to do it or not, you had your structure and you kept it. Don't lose sight. Don't lose sight. Be open of what the future brings. On the one side, it's also very important to not have too much fixed goals in your own life. So that means don't make too concrete pictures in the mind of how the future should look like. But what all of life's purpose, all of the 24 hours day you do have, is that you can shape the direction of where those goals are going to appear. So it is the direction in a way that we are shaping. It starts really with the simple things. Even so that we're in the 21st century and the possibilities of doing and exploring this world are so huge, it doesn't mean that you should freely do what you want at all times. This is not the way of how in the monastery, in the Shaolin temple, we are regarding it as a healthy way of growing. To discover, to explore, to make something from your journey means you need to walk. We need to be active. But now the question is, when you look at your 24-hour day, how much of this 24-hour day Is it active? And how much of it is it like waiting, sitting, and passively observing? Yes, so my name is Shi Heng. I am currently the headmaster here from the Shaolin Temple Europe. Father, he wanted me to start practicing with the age of 4, to just join a Shaolin school nearby here in Kaiserslautern, Germany, where I just start my practice. I stayed with whatever I started with and never really gave up on falling into different directions. There came some hard times where I really wanted to give up and didn't follow up anymore on the martial arts side, but my father, in that sense, he never gave me a choice to even consider of quitting something that I started so early in age. In the very beginning, also for me, I have to say that every time I watched the Shaolin movies and every time something about Shaolin came onto my mind, in the first place, I was always limiting it in a way to the physical aspects and meaning to the physical abilities of these people, of these persons who are practicing the Shaolin arts. But now, after 34 years, how can I say? It is a very, very important aspect, the physical training. But there will come the time when you simply have to realize that it's impossible to keep up this physicality on the long run. No matter how much performance you can deliver at this very moment. But just due to the simple facts of we are getting old, we are having more restrictions inside our body, it's impossible to keep up that performance on the long term. So therefore, it becomes very, very relevant that there are other aspects about the human, about yourself, which is more sustainable and that you can keep up for a much, much longer time. I became better because I compared myself with others. I saw how others were doing their performance. I saw how skillful other people were. And that's why I look up to them in the beginning and try to ask myself, okay, they can do it. How can I try and get to that point as well? And so that means competition and that competitive mind in the very beginning was an important aspect of, of challenging yourself and of also trying to get the best version out of you. But meanwhile, things just have shifted a little bit. And the purpose right now, why I'm training, why I'm still pushing myself, now it has shifted that I don't have the competitive mind in comparison to somebody else, but now it's really to myself only. And that means that it's endless in a way. It becomes endless, this path of how much you can grow, because you simply just take yourself as that one person that you try to improve. And at the same time, because now it's yourself that you are taking as this idol and as the best version comparison, this also means you have a much deeper insight into the person that you're comparing yourself with. Because before, you saw the physical abilities and you saw the skills of another person, but sometimes you didn't see their character. But now, because it is yourself that you are facing with, now you can dive much deeper into what you are actually made out of. Humans like stability. To be stable, to be balanced. That means, also now talking from the martial arts, when you start your training, no matter what type of system it is, the first things you normally learn in the martial arts is the proper way of standing, which means the proper way of aligning your body on the earth. Because we say, if you cannot stand firmly, no matter what type of techniques and applications you're trying to do afterwards, they can only be as good as your foundation is. And this foundation means for us stability of the body, stability of the legs. But now trying to translate this into the modern way of living a life, I mean, it's very, very similar. You can start off easily nowadays to try and become famous very quickly, try to build up a very high-level lifestyle. But the question ultimately is, all these things, one day, they will reach their peak and they will vanish again. And then the question remains, what is the foundation that is going to hold you up? Because sometimes living a fast way up also means it's going to be a fast way down. That's why very often we say, just look outside the tree. It does not happen in the whole universe that you are planting this tree on one day and 1 week after you have that huge tree standing in front of you. It's just not happening in this world. When it comes to such a word like balance, it's not that you know from the mind that you do something about it. It is because you can feel that something needs to be done. It's like if you try one day, maybe when you have a child, and try to explain to him how to ride the bicycle. You can tell him, in order to ride the bicycle, you need to learn to be perfectly in balance. So the left side of your body and the right side, there must be 50-50 of weight distribution. Front side, back side, 50-50. It doesn't matter how long we're going to explain it to the child. You know that the child understood what balance is in the moment where he can ride the bicycle. Because then you know he just discovered something. Now he has it. So, and the same is like now for us. So that means now it's not the bicycle that we are riding. Now it is your life. It is your life. It is the things that right now are happening in your life. It is the amount of how many bad messages, let's say, are you receiving at the moment. Yeah? How is your sleep at the moment? How is your appetite at the moment? How is your general mood at the moment? All of this right now together, this is where you start to get a feeling for it. You feel, this is my life. This is how my life feels at the moment. And when you now feel that something is not correct there, then you balance it out. And the easy way to just balance out, this is what we describe as there is an observation part and there's an active part. For many, many people, I think to start with those two levels of balancing would already be enough. That simply means maybe you are too active in some parts and maybe you're too passive in other parts. No matter in what you are investing it, every one of us has 24 hours that we can work with. Any other skill that you can develop in this world, any skill must be nourished over and over again. And this is why there is the saying, for example, the real skill, the Kung Fu, what we call Kung Fu, yeah, it's the skill attained by investing a lot of effort. And the only way in order to express this is by repetitive structure, repetitive movements. And therefore is the saying, perfection comes from repetition. because this is also why somebody becomes so good in filming, making very nice video shots, very nice footage. Why? How come? I'm sure he very often had his camera in his hands. Somebody who is practicing or is in the martial art fields, his lifetime, his 24-hour day must be filled with martial art way of life. So in order to know in what is a person good in, you just need to look at the 24-hour day, at the 7 days a week, at every month, and at the last 2-3 years. And then you can very much tell already what type of skills a person, for example, can develop or has developed. If something appears in your lifetime that you like, you see something that you like, or you hear something that you like, so something comes there into your lifetime and you like it, then we say, don't pull. If something appears in your lifetime that you don't like, that means that you would normally reject. There we say, don't push. So I like it. That's why I want to keep it as good as I can, and I want to bring it even closer to me. Then what is going to happen is one day when the time comes, whatever you try to pull towards you, it's simply going to move even away from you. At the same time, something comes and you rejected it right from the beginning. It's just a question of time until whatever you push away from you starts to move very close to you. You just need to watch around you from the moment that we are born. From the moment that we are born, your amount of inhalation and exhalation is exactly 50-50. The amount of days and the amount of nights until right now, it's 50-50. Nothing stays the way how it is. Success never stays success, because success is based upon failure. A healthy person never will stay only healthy. He is healthy because sickness exists. A rich man never stays rich forever. He's only rich right now because poorness also exists. Maybe one day we're gonna ask ourselves, there must be another way of handling and walking through this lifetime without always being caught inside these up and downs of life. Yes, and this is how I would at the moment express what that whole expression and idea is about: harmony, about balance, about stability, about unity. No matter if you are going to be rich in this lifetime, you don't lose yourself. There is that one person in this lifetime. That person cannot be raised more than he is, and he cannot be lower more than he is, because he has always been stable. No matter how many compliments you give him, he will always remain stable. He won't raise up. No matter how much you insult him, you cannot insult him, because you cannot get him down, because he is always remaining in the stable state. He's unshakable. It's always worthwhile to strive for something that you regard as important for your life. Something that you have attained, you are going to lose. Attainment is there because you can lose it. But attainment also means it's not you. You are the one who can attain things. That's why don't identify yourself with the attainment. Don't identify yourself as rich. You can be rich, but you are not richness. Because richness will leave you one day. But if I can be rich, I can be rich. But if this richness one day leaves, well, then it left, but I am still me. That's the difference. I can be a successful person, but I am not success. Because if you are success, you're gonna lose it. Yeah? And so this is it's just a small mental switch, I would say, that makes the difference. How do you want to express yourself in this world? When you set yourself a mission to have the vitality, to have the power, to have the mindset, to have the determination, to have the willpower, just as we know them from the Shaolin warrior monks today. And it's not just in our tradition where I am coming from right now. These were the idols that I grew up with. But maybe if you would talk to another person which maybe has his descendants coming from Japan, maybe he would take the Japanese samurai as an example of the warrior codex. Maybe you go to the United States, I don't know, maybe over there you can take the Navy SEALs as an elite special force, which is also expressing a very powerful mindset in many different ways. So different cultural traditions had different idols, different type of powerful spirits that you can look up to. And from where I come from, these were the warrior monks. Hardship is never easy. When it comes to the pure practice of the martial arts, so the Kung Fu training, there is an expression which is sometimes called, if you make this education to a Shaolin master, to a Kung Fu master, you are normally walking through the valley of pain. This is how it's expressed. Because it involves a lot of physical conditioning, a lot of physical challenges that you need to cross. That means it happens in the stretching, it happens when you are just building up your stamina, it happens when your body starts to grow, it happens in every single aspect that you need to challenge your body, and you need to challenge especially the mind. So this is the one side of it. But by far more difficult is really to decide how committed are you to really do something about your life. Everyone has the possibility to unlock something very, very special about him or herself. And it's up to your actions. Ultimately, it's you yourself who also is able to unlock it. Sometimes you need the key to unlock it. It's not that you cannot do it. The problem is only you don't know how. You don't know where to start. You don't know where to look. And this is why sometimes in this lifetime you are meeting someone that we call a teacher, that we sometimes call a master, it was you who put the effort into doing the training, doing the research, doing the work. Ultimately, it was you. But it was him or her that gave you that spark, that gave you that key, that you eventually started doing it. And this is why sometimes you need these people, because they hold the key for you to enter into the next door. They are the gate holders, the gatekeepers. And why is it that we then start to follow that master? Because he has the key. To be able and take that decision, are you going to go for it or not? But being asleep all the time is difficult. Yeah, and that is the reason you don't want to sleep right now. You want to be awake. You want to be awake, and you want to be clear. Being awake and clear. Now your life is in your hands. Being numb, being under drugs, be awake and be clear, and then fill up your energy tank. How can someone now who finds himself in this type of darkness, so what can he do? And there I can really only say there are a lot of different methods out there, and every door needs one certain key. Sometimes the Shaolin methods are not always the proper ones to just be offered to anyone. Sometimes it just doesn't fit. So if I right now just replace that word darkness with the term that something is closed, the possibilities are closed because there's nothing to see. You don't know what to do. So what are we doing in the different methods now in the Shaolin Temple? Number one step is open the body, or open the human. Open the human not only in terms of physically opening, meaning stretch open the muscles, stretch open the tendons, stretch open the ligaments, open really the body, open the lungs that more oxygen can come in. But also means open the mind. Open the mind meaning to realize whenever you are in a way limiting your views, for example, limiting your own perspective. And by regularly practicing, every day we have exercises to open the body. Every day we take care that we are opening and stay with the open mind. This openness after time is something that we are then starting to incorporate into our being, into our daily life. And this is what opens then the doors again. The more open you become, the more you will see once again the possibilities that are out there. Practically speaking, what should you do? Increase the level of activity. If somebody finds himself in a too dark place, increase the amount of activity, which means spend a lot of time outside while the sun is shining where there are a lot of people. The opposite is you're in a dark place and you stay at home in your four walls for some time, it's sometimes necessary, but this is not going to be the solution. If you by yourself cannot create that light, then we have to somehow try that the circumstances on the outside help you, support you a little bit along this way. I think the human is able to develop and learn so many different things when the willingness is there, when you are willing to learn. You are willing to learn, and afterwards you put that willingness into a form. Willingness into a form means you make a plan. A simple daily plan. Tomorrow I'm dedicating 5 minutes to practice it. The day after, another 5 minutes. After that week, 10 minutes every day. And this you keep, no matter what, no excuse. Everyone is old enough to make a plan where you can put 5 minutes into your daily schedule that is just unchanged for the next month. I don't see a problem with this. But sometimes we're too compulsive. Sometimes you do have a plan. But then somebody calls you, you receive a message, something comes in between, and suddenly the plan is gone. If you have this type of commitment, why would you even call it commitment? The human mind is not made to stay at one place at one time. The commitment knows it. That's why we give it. This is why we say, okay, I commit to it. Because I know that hard times will come, that I will find excuses why not to make it, that I will have days I'm not in the mood to practice it. I know these times are going to come, but this is why you do the commitment. There is a history in all of us which cannot be changed, which means where we come from, what type of genes has been given to us. Yes. But at the same time, I also think that everyone in this world is absolutely free to express themselves in whatever way they feel like. It's just the fact that I can also see that some virtues, not even virtues that are being represented from the Shaolin Temple, but general virtues within the society are starting to too much become mixed up and starting also to disappear. And therefore, I think it was a really good question to sometimes pay attention to the fact that what has been given to you sometimes needs some care. When it becomes your habit, automatically a different quality starts to emanate from you. Increase this type of quality, then I think this is what you should do. You don't jump around too much. You are not undecided. Before you talk, you think. Before you talk, you think. You don't just let it flow out. But once it is said, it's backed up with action. If this pattern is continuously repeating, what is the way out? It's not by adding something on top of it. Because it seems like it's always about adding something more. You are learning something because you think you are missing it. You are going to another country because you think you are missing that experience. You are trying out another type of food because you think you are missing that taste. So that means the general idea, which is at the moment existing, is every time when we as humans feel something is lacking, the answer is just consume more. This is not about giving. It's about taking. It's about taking away everything that is in front of a person's eye, that has covered up the clear view upon how this world, how your internal nature, how your emotions, your mindset is all connected with each other. The reason why I talk, which seems like I'm giving out something. No, I'm not giving out. I'm just saying something in order for you yourself to let something fall, to realize for yourself that there was something in the mind, there was a concept, a belief system, a way of thinking inside of you all the time already, that maybe now you realize that one has no fundament anymore. Actually, it is blocking me more than it actually does help me. You think that because we are so well connected everywhere in the world, you can access quite a lot of information just by going on Google or on YouTube. Of course, it feels like that you are independent because you have access to the whole world just by sitting at home. Yes, this is a trend. This is a development which is going on now for quite some time and will still go on in the future, until it will shift. Until it will shift. And you will realize how much of a fantasy and how much of an illusion it is to think that you can live a life, or that living a life means that you are sitting at the chair, looking at the whole world and being connected with the world through the screen. This is not living a life. This is you are living an illusion in this life. To live a life is you look at your hands, you look at your body, and you go out of the house. You do the steps. You do what makes your body sweat. You breathe in the air. You have physical contact with people. You talk face to face with people. This is living life. The other thing is sad. So the result of if something is too dark is it's very difficult to actually distinguish anything. What are your possibilities in the darkness? Because you don't see any direction, you don't see objects in the darkness. So what therefore the approach is, what therefore I think must be done, is no matter which method you're using, you need to light up that space. So either you find a way to really light up that space so that in such a way that darkness slowly disappears and you slowly start to see what is in that room, what is in that space. That is the first possibility. Or the second one would be that you are developing yourself and are equipping yourself with some type of skills that gives you better abilities to see in the dark.
Recently, I set up a charity in honor of my son, the Jacob Mulligan Charity, where we provide parents with headstones for the loss of their children or their baby. With the link in the description, a friend of mine is running a half marathon and she set up a GoFundMe page for the charity where all the money goes towards headstones for bereaved parents. If you feel like supporting it, please consider go and donating below. And also at mulliganbrothers.com, you can still get the Still t-shirts and donate through the Still donation link as well. Guys, I cannot thank you guys enough for all the support. You made everything possible that we do here, and this is our next step. You know, for me, this was the moment that changed my life and made me become a part of the Mulligan Brothers and the Inspired Change movement. And we are hoping to transfer that to other people and help out other people and families who are going through a similar situation that I went through. Have a blessed and productive day. And I just want to say a massive shout out to my brother, Luke Mulligan, on Instagram at Luke Mulligan Brother, who edited this video. So if you enjoyed that, please go follow Luke as well. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
I realize you go higher, you go even more alone, because nobody is willing anymore to invest their energy in going higher, because it's becoming more difficult. They say, it's already okay here. Why you still want to move up there? It's getting more dangerous, whatever. So that means along this way, the higher you want to go, the more likely you're gonna walk alone. This is the next thing. Along the way to mastery, you walk the way alone. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Waking up and thinking too much about what to do today. You don't even reach the state of being able to immerse into your daily life. Because you're still in figuring out 24 hours a day what to do. You're still thinking about your life. Yeah, but thinking is something different than experiencing, than sensing, than feeling life itself. This is why all these methods, stop thinking, meditate, discipline your thoughts. Stop thinking too much. Don't go into the past. Don't go into the future. Be in the present. Why? Because only then it's possible that the mind is free, the capacity is free, and now you can completely immerse into whatever you are doing. And this means you have arrived. You have arrived. That's it. You want to achieve something serious, you need to be serious. You can't achieve something seriously impactful if you're joking around and if you're losing your focus all the time. So that means setting priorities, knowing when is the time to invest the energy, when it is the time to release energy, when is it good now to recover. When are you really feeling this is now starting to be the limit? These are all very, very fine aspects that only you know. Only you know about yourself. When you lift the weights, only you know. People outside watching, they don't know. If you're going through a struggle, if you're just warming up, they don't know. So that means to continuously integrating an internal dialogue. Into your practices. The awareness is with myself. I can feel the changes throughout the practice that are happening inside of my body. I can feel if something is blocked. I can feel if there is potential to release some energy somewhere and invest it somewhere else. This is like this whole idea of an internal practice, a quiet practice. And at the end, it is insight. You gain more insight into yourself. What is the result? More performance. More being able to tickle the potential out that is, let's say, sleeping inside of you. But you need to realize what is sleeping. The fact is, you wake up in the morning. I would easily say many people, first thing they do is directly look either on the phone or whatever. It's a common thing. It's not about good or bad, it's about consequence. And if the morning is already starting with your awareness being drawn out to something which is pretty irrelevant on the long term, then of course the way of how you're living your life is also gonna display upon that. It doesn't matter what type of practice you're doing. It is the way that whatever it is, be aware of what's going on the inside. Use this outside movements in order to get inside. Use all of this because of the repetition, because of the consistency that it is happening every day. This is why it's possible for you to watch deep. If circumstances are changing every day too quickly, it's difficult to find something stable about it. Self-mastery, mastering something, is always about yourself. And if you want to master yourself, well, you're gonna challenge and face yourself, and this is happening alone. Somebody told me, in case I feel like in dark times, you are not alone. If this room is completely dark, I am alone. Even if somewhere behind there, I see a spark of light, I see a spark of hope, which is behind there. Yeah, but for me, experiencing here, there is still the gap of darkness in between me and the spark of hope. So around me, for me, it's dark. And I don't have anybody left and right from me. So, and in this picture, meanwhile, I really think that to build yourself up, to have a certain amount of, let's say, responsibility for yourself. This is why I'm emphasizing all the time in all of these years, make yourself strong. Make yourself strong. We all want peace, yes. But here, in our place, we not just want to have peace. Peaceful and strong. This combination I prefer better. Listen, if from the 24 hours day, you are like sleeping 8 hours and you still have then the rest of 16 hours to invest in something. If from these 16 hours, you are spending 10 hours sitting there thinking about how nice everything was a few days ago, well, it's just blocking you from investing these 10 hours in now starting to do something now, or planning something that you want to put into place later. Emptying the cup is so helpful because it also applies to information flow at the end. Flow of if you want to learn something new. It's just not appropriate to go to a teacher, visit any seminar or any workshop when you already have like a preconditioned mindset or preoccupied mind while entering into new territory. To understand new territory, you have to become part of the territory. Along the way to mastery, you walk the way alone. You can't bring your own ideas and values, what you think, into a new territory, because this is in a way limiting what is possible to penetrate into you. It's constant filling up, emptying the cup. Filling up, emptying the cup. Doesn't mean you are not learning or that you're not growing along the way, because this is what the cup is doing. The cup is growing by doing so, but it is the content. It is like you read the book and after some time you get the content of the book. Latest after reading the book 10 times, you understood the message from the book. But now it's possible you put away the book. The container is not necessary anymore because the message has also went into, let's say, your system. Yeah? So it's not necessary to carry the book still in your backpack wherever you are going. It has become part of you already. Unless you are collecting knowledge without putting this knowledge into practice.
Support more projects like this by going to the link in the description. Use code 2024 for buy one, get one free across the success journals. Success journals, they're not a journal that actually gets stuff done. And the Memento posters or buy one, get one free. Mix and match across the whole website, including t-shirts and hoodies, using code 2024, 2024, link down below. Get ready for the new year. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
How does somebody become lost? I think it's never correct to generalize in a way, because like I initially also said before, you never know where the people are coming from and through what type of circumstances and situations they already went through. So there might be a lot of variables which ultimately lead to the fact why you maybe have been on the path already. But something happened in between, some obstacles showed up that make you stagnate, that make you sometimes lose the path. Coming from the ancient views and the ancient philosophies, especially now talking about Taoism, there is the term the Tao, which is translated as the way. But this way sometimes is not considered of being the way that you are deciding for yourself which one to walk, let's say. It is always the combination, in my opinion, in my view. It is the purpose to, on the one side, discover what is in your field of possibilities, and at the same time, what is your, let's call it, destiny at the same time. That there is something about the outcome of our future, the outcome of our life, dependent on the way how you think, what you think, the way what you talk, how you talk, and what you do and how you do the things. This is something directly related to your actions, to your personality. But at the same time, I have to call them other forces, which are also interfering and which are also having a huge impact upon the outcome of your efforts. So therefore, the whole approach, once again, is to become more aware of yourself. This is the answer of finding out what is it actually that has make you lose the way. Maybe even you never even realized what is the way. And so therefore, the initial point is to take a step back. Especially taking a step back and realizing what is it that you are at the moment surrounded with, that all the time from the morning until the evening is maybe interfering with your own thoughts. It's necessary to really be aware. Are the ideas that you are having about life, are the ideas how you are supposed to develop within this life? Are these ideas really coming from you? Or is it something that you have just grasped from the outside? Because maybe, yes, maybe from the government, from the society, from the advertisements that you are seeing, being surrounded with. A lot of people nowadays, I think, are being influenced by that. And the issue here is that you sometimes are just not conscious about it. So in the moment where you're becoming more aware, where you're becoming more conscious about what is actually going on, this is that initial starting point where I would say this opens chances. Because we can only fix a problem, we can only tackle a problem if we know where it is located. And if you are still searching somewhere on the outside to blame someone, or to blame any situation, or to blame any organization, or even to blame the government or whatsoever, as long as you are watching outwards and search for a guilty one without pointing the finger at yourself, in our understanding, in our way of how we see the things, it is the wrong approach. Because feeling lost, meaning you are feeling lost. It is something inside of yourself that you feel is not in the proper state. It's not the people that you are surrounded with that are feeling lost. It is something that is directly linked with your inner being. So if your inner being needs something to be fixed, you need to make it internally. You need to make it inside of yourself. Of course, it can mean that your inside at the moment is still being triggered many times by external circumstances. But that is exactly dependency that we want to get rid of. Because as long as your internal being is so strong connected to external circumstances, you are not going to find the peace, and you will especially not find the proper ways how you are able to find your own path. I think it is a very, very difficult endeavor, let's say, to try and walk through this lifetime only by yourself. It is something extremely helpful to either have close friends, to have a brotherhood, to have a community, to have people that you are surrounding yourself with, where you are feeling that there is something you have in common, or what we also sometimes call where there is resonance between you. And sometimes you meet a person, and if you are aware enough and you start your conversations, you will feel that maybe the way how that person is behaving, the things this person is talking, there is something that is resonating with yourself. And just by taking this word resonating, resonance means there is something getting into the same wavelengths, something getting in the same swing, in the same frequency as what you already are carrying inside. It is similar like, why do people have different tastes when it comes to music? Why are there some beats you like to hear, and they are like music for your ears, but other type of tracks, they are hard for you. They are more like disturbing maybe for you. And at least my theory and my understanding is that because there is something from the past maybe already that you are carrying inside of you, you are starting to remember something. Remember that you maybe heard these sounds before, that you were maybe in contact with these type of frequencies before. And so every time when you feel there is something where you quickly come in resonance. It could mean that you are just starting off to remember a place where you have been before. So you are just starting to continue from that moment on. On the other side, it doesn't mean that if you are witnessing something and you're not in resonance with it, it also doesn't mean that there is no possibility in there. Because everything that is unknown to you, everything that in the moment is disturbing to you, that is in a way a challenge to you, like we mentioned before, these are also chances. But right now, when we are talking about somebody feeling lost, somebody not knowing what is my own path, one way of, let's say, starting a journey is to just start by socializing, start by getting to know different people, talking with the people, and figuring out if there's anything during those conversations where you directly feel that is something I'm resonating with. Because if these ideas at the moment don't come from you, that's not a problem. But then we need at this moment in time, maybe just some additional support from the outside. And all humans are the same. On the one side it's right, on the other side it's not right. All humans are the same and all humans are unique. Somewhere along these humans, there are people you are resonating with. So you are definitely not alone along this path. But to give up and think that that you are a lost case, there are no lost cases. Unless you give yourself up, then it is lost. But if you for yourself keep that spark inside of you and just try at least and find someone else that is on the same wavelength, I think that is a chance. That there is something being transmitted and transferred from generation to generation, even if it was not our choice in a way, which goes for biological features that we have, but at the same time also goes for knowledge, spiritual development, energetic development. And so when I talk about a place or something where you're resonating with, resonating means something is getting into the same frequency. So in the moment where I'm in a situation and that situation has a certain frequency and I feel I'm getting in resonance with it, what it means for me is there must be something inside of me that already has memorized these patterns of that movement, let's say. So that means I must have been there before. Something about me must have heard, must have felt that type of situation before. And if this is the case, then I cannot tell you if it was from this life, if it was from another experience, but it's out of question that I must have been there before. Elsewise, it would not suit that example of talking about resonance. It is similar, like that word feeling comfortable, or when we now just switch, maybe a little bit different topic, but comfort zone and leaving the comfort zone. I think that we are becoming comfortable with all of the things because we have repetitively already spent time with them. The first time you are experiencing the cold, it's uncomfortable. The more you train it, the more you practice it, the more you expose yourself to the cold, I think sooner or later you are getting a little bit more at ease being in the cold. Meanwhile, also to the point where you maybe even feel comfortable outside in the cold. The same is like you're not feeling comfortable speaking in front of an audience, in front of a crowd. You practice it. Oftentimes you repeat this same pattern, and then sooner or later that stage fever maybe disappears, and at the same time you're becoming more comfortable. So comfort is very often related to the fact you have already experienced, you have already went through a certain amount of times. This is why you are feeling comfortable in that situation. Vice versa. What does it now mean if something is making you uncomfortable? You are feeling uncomfortable, or you are facing the fact of being uncomfortable. That just means you are reaching a borderline. You are reaching a limit that you until now have not yet crossed often enough. Why do I think it is necessary to cross the lines, to cross your own limits and lines from time to time? Because elsewise you will be stuck in your own limited view of what you have experienced already. If you are living a comfortable life, it only means you are continuously staying inside a field of what you know already, either from this life, or you just have not proceeded yet from, let's say, past generations. So every time you are crossing that line, every time you are expanding that border, you are expanding that limit, for me this means there is some growth, there is some new discovery. Because what you are doing is you are bringing light into a space that before that time was a space of uncertainty. It's uncomfortable because you don't know the outcome of what is going to happen if you cross that line. That's why it's uncertain. That's why people are afraid of uncertainty. But there is only one way to find out and make uncertainty become knowledge. And that one is through experiencing it. After you do it, then you know. People ask me in the type of trainings, yeah, so for what should I now stand half an hour in that position? What is it good for? Why should I breathe like this? Why should I breathe like that? Why is the finger positions like this? Why is it like this? Why are there so many different things? You just can't explain it by words. Somewhere these words are hitting a barrier. And that barrier can only be broken in the moment where the knowledge, the intellectual knowledge, starts to transform into action, and that action is going to bring you the answer. And this answer is what in our tradition we really refer as, that is knowledge now. Or sometimes we call it wisdom. It is that type of knowledge that came because of your own discoveries. That is the real knowledge. The knowledge about that your teacher, a friend, somebody is telling you that you know up here. That's like the intellectual knowledge, the pre-knowledge, the type of knowledge that now, first of all, needs to transform into action. action transforms into experience. And experience gives you what you need in order to move on. It is a method that we call once you feel that spark or that small fire now needs to be nourished. Nourished in order for it to grow. If you are self-questioning yourself too often, if you are filled with too much doubt all the time, that is definitely one of these hindrances that is going to diminish that fire again. Once the fire is going, the fire is going. So stop investing your thoughts. Stop rethinking about why it would not work. Don't stop the fire before it even started really growing. You need to get out of that self-questioning. You need to learn to sometimes really have confidence in the power of your thoughts. Once it's in the mind already, everything can become possible if you find the way to translate what is in the mind into action, because this transformation makes things come to earth. Everything we have available nowadays on this earth started somewhere here by someone. It started here and then it ended here, meaning there were some actions merged together with what was on the mind to bring it here, visible for others and also visible for yourself in front of you, not just inside of you.